Welcome to the fourth series of government track sessions, the USADE. This is one of four sessions at this conference. And I imagine we will have a few members of the government committee showing up a little bit later. All of us work for federal agencies that make a lot of energy data available to the public. For some of it, it is just government data. EIA has a broader mandate and covers public and private. But we think this gives you a pretty good picture of the energy available from public sources. Some presentations will emphasize more Western lands, but we all have national data. At the end, if there's time, I will just provide some screenshots for two agencies that are not available. We're going to start with Chris Peterson, who is from the Energy Information Administration. We also have Brian Schaeffer from the U.S. Geological Survey, and we have Lindsay Goldstein and Maroya Faied from the Office of Natural Resources Revenue, which collects federal revenue from energy and mining leases from the federal government. I work for the Bureau of Offshore Energy Management. We cover offshore energy and minerals, so oil and gas. We have a new wind energy, offshore wind energy program, and also minerals as large as sand and gravel, but we're also looking at the issue of critical minerals is coming up again. Two, I will, if we have time, I'll present a little bit of information just showing screenshots of our website, where to look at data, where to look at the Bureau of Land Management's website, and then one more, which is the Bureau of Safety and Environmental Enforcement, which also looks at offshore. Anyway, a few housekeeping details first. You should be able to get all of the presentations on the website, through the conference website, so you should be able to get the presentations there. We do have some handouts here that provide information on various aspects of what our agencies do, focusing on energy data. There are also some at the table up in the break area, if we run out here. We will hold questions until the end, until after all of the presentations, unless you have unique clarification on something that's there. With that, we will turn to Chris Peterson from the Energy Information Administration for his talk about what EIA provides for you. So here was what's there. So first, what's that? Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Like Kim said, I'm Chris Peterson. I'm a senior market analyst at the Energy Information Administration. This is my first time at a USADE conference. I've been to some of the local, in Washington, D.C., there's a chapter of the organization. I've attended some of their luncheons there. And so I'm having a good experience taking in all the different broad topics that are being addressed here. So most of you have probably some familiarity with EIA, its website, the data we collect, our forecasts, the tools we've been developing. And so we have a massive data footprint. I don't have time to do an overview of everything we're doing. But what I'd like to share with you today are some thoughts on some things EIA has done in recent years to increase our focus on Western energy. So there are lots of federal agencies that collect energy information. Many state agencies and states do as well as third-party actors. EIA plays a big role as part of that joint collection effort. One thing that makes EIA unique from most of these organizations, I think, is by law, our products are independent. So EIA has a panoramic view of energy data. We are kind of the place where we have to collect almost everything. We collect data across all fuels, all sectors, all jurisdictions, retail and wholesale. My friends at FERC have a more limited purview. They mainly focus on the wholesale side, but EIA covers both. We look at all the states, including the non-continental ones. We look at most of the countries, and increasingly we're looking at regional activity too. So we have a big job looking at all this information. We also focus on infrastructure, different technologies, etc. So the Western market is really important to EIA. It's a big geographic area. There's a lot of infrastructure there. It's been the location for energy disruptions and infrastructure challenges going back before the California energy crisis a couple decades ago. It's a place it's a test bed for new technologies. There's a confluence of local, state, regional, federal policies that kind of jumble together and affect market outcomes there. And so the West is a place where EIA has paid a lot of attention to. And as we've heard at this conference, it's also a place where we've seen a lot of issues surrounding renewables penetration and renewables integration in the market. So one of the biggest accomplishments EIA has had in the last several years, I believe, is our increased collection of state natural gas and crude oil production. Prior to our expansion in 2015, EIA actually did not survey crude oil production. We created crude oil production estimates by using state information and other resources. But now that we collect that in many states, the timeliness and we've been able to reduce the lags, improve the quality of information we get as part of that effort. We've recently added 16 states into our collection. 8 of them are in the West. We're covering more than 90% of production by volume for the states we're picking up now. And importantly, we're also relaying information on crude oil production by specific API gravity. Many of the discussions I've heard have brought up issues about infrastructure and pricing and market dynamics affecting grades of crude oil, and so EIA is now providing that information on a monthly basis. So when I spoke with my colleagues that work on electricity data collection, I asked them to give me an update on things that the agency has done that are kind of new enhancements. And they gave me a laundry list that was so massive I couldn't legibly put it on a slide. So I'm going to go over a few of, I think, the more important things you might want to know about. I think the biggest one is that EIA now collects hourly electricity information by balancing authority. And in a second, I'll go into a little bit more detail on what that looks like and what that means. We've added information on small-scale solar generation. We have collected a lot more information now that's unit and plant level for power plants, and we're increasing the amount of information we provide related to electric battery storage. So 3 months ago, EIA launched the Hourly Electric Grid Monitor. This is an online interactive dashboard that was built on some of the 930 electric operating data we started publishing in 2015. But this tool offers a lot of enhancements the prior tool doesn't. Like I said, it's an interactive dashboard. It gives users lots of flexibility. So you can identify date ranges you want to look at information for. You can change chart types. You can customize what your screen looks like. And it's easy to download data. Now the information you can find as part of this tool is you get load by hour, the day ahead load forecast by hour. You can get net generation by energy source. We now report load by RTO subregion, and we report interchange, net interchange, and interchange by balancing authority. So we have all these new tools on an hourly basis with a really slick data visualization framework that you can pull the information from. I think this is a transformation in terms of the amount of data transparency this provides, because you can know lots of detailed information by hour in places outside RTOs where there really wasn't good information before to know any of that. In 2016, in the aftermath of the Aliso Canyon natural gas storage field accident, EIA was getting a lot of questions about regional reliability and market conditions in Southern California. So EIA stood up one of our first dashboards focused on the sub-region, where we provide daily information on market fundamentals, which we publish at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time each day. Users can access a detailed archive of prior reports, and we routinely put up commentary, articles of interest related to Southern California and the West. Some of you with an oil and gas focus may have some familiarity with EIA's drilling productivity report. This was something that EIA started, we delivered this in late 2013. EIA created this to shine a light on how productivity gains in U.S. tight oil and shale gas basins were driving increased natural gas and crude oil production. The DPR is published on a monthly basis. We update information for 8 basins. And in recent years, we've been tweaking, I guess, some of the ways we've come up with estimates. We also now provide information on drilled but uncompleted wells, which we also update on a monthly basis. In May this year, EIA embarked on an effort to improve how we share state information with stakeholders. So in the past, EIA had state information that was sort of spread out all over our website. It wasn't all linked together. It oftentimes kind of hard to find. So we created a new interactive dashboard, a unified platform, where you can, in kind of a one-stop way, you can go to the portal and you can get information in the past that was harder to get. So the portal makes it easier to print, download, compare information across states. You can embed the application on your website if you want. It'll update automatically each day. So it gives, it makes it a lot easier to find and use state energy information. And we have built-in tools, so if you want to compare state to regional totals, you can do that also as part of this application. I should say, the state energy portal is important to EIA because foundationally, state data is one of the things that is pretty unique to EIA, that we're one of the few places where we have detailed state information. So GIS and mapping are really important to the agency. Over the years, we've invested more resources into providing better products here. And so there are 2 big things we've been working on. We've been adding lots of data that sit underneath the 2D pictures you see. The other thing we've been doing is we've been incorporating more extensive layers that you can pull up and use and customize the maps you want to make. These GIS capabilities are now featured in most of our new interactive dashboards we've been preparing. So we have a ton of information we've been adding here. 3 examples, I guess, I'd like to highlight for you are about 2-3 years ago, EIA started grabbing the NOAA administrative data so that when there were tropical storms or hurricanes, we USGS had information on our website in our energy disruptions mapping tool, and you can see where the cones and paths of storms relate to energy infrastructure or other layers that you may want to turn on to do those kinds of assessments. The other thing we've been working on is recently, I spent a lot of time examining the California market. I've been using our tool to track wildfire activity in California and look at that in relation to population densities, electric transmission lines, and other kinds of infrastructure. So we now ingest web services to track wildfires, not just in California, but all over. And then lastly, some of my colleagues that are really adept at geology and GIS have been creating a new suite of oil and gas resource maps. We spent a lot of time detailing what's going on in the Permian Basin, Wolfcamp, parts of the Appalachian Basins, and you can look at maps from different perspectives of thermal maturity, structure, thickness, that type of thing. My USGS colleague over here, you could probably tell you more about all those details, but we've been spending a lot of time building out maps that the public can access on our website that have that information. A key way we share information about what's going on is through Today in Energy, or TIE as we call it. I was the first publisher of this product back in 2011. I worked on it for several years. And TIE is a helpful thing because we each day on the front center panel of the EIA website, we share brief articles on topics of interest. Today, for example, there's a Western theme for the article. If you all haven't seen it yet, we do a deep dive on what's been going on with California gasoline price trends. TIE is helpful because it's written plainly. It has extensive hyperlinks that you can use to access related information, whether they're ties or non-tie links. And we use keyword tagging so that if you go to the website, you can click browse by tag, and you can find all the related articles on a topic, say, like for the West or for nuclear, whatever word you type in. We have hundreds, if not maybe thousands of articles in our archive on this. And there are lots of ways that our communication staff make all this information knowable to you all. They spend a lot of time with our social media products to make sure everyone can know when we update things. There are different ways we've been doing that. My email is on here. Feel free to contact me if you want to know more information about anything in this package or really anything else. I provided a set of links on this slide and the next slide. And one thing Kim had asked me to do in preparing remarks for this is help people understand where they can get information that's not some of this more recent Western-focused information. If you click on this link on the bottom right here, that will layer you into all of the EIA data sources, whether it's monthly, annual, daily, for all the different fuels, all the different regions. So that link will be your gateway into learning more about products I haven't gone over here today. Links to the things I talked about, again, are on these more information pages. And I've set aside some material my colleagues pulled together from the communications office if you want more information about those. I guess with that, I'll turn things over to our next panelist.
While Lindsay and Maroya are getting ready for their presentation, I'll just mention that after the session, all panelists, depending upon their schedules, will be sticking around if you want to ask particular questions. And I did forget to bring my laptop with me. I know that Maroya and Lindsay are prepared to show you their website if you have questions about how to find things.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Maroya Faied. I'm talk to you about our website, revenuedata.ui.gov. So I'll start by giving a background of our agency, Honor, and also a background of how our website came about, and then I'll show you a live demo of the website and what kind of data we have available. Also talk to you a little bit how we verify that data before we publish it on the website. And Lindsay will go through a live example to show you how you can find data. And then we will, at the end, ask for your help to improve our website. So Honor is short for the Office of Natural Resources Revenue, and we are under the Department of Interior. And our responsibility as an agency is to collect, account for, and verify natural resources and energy revenues that's due to the states, Native Americans, and the U.S. Treasury. So we basically collect royalties on any production from federal and Native American lands, and we disperse these revenues to the states and Native Americans and treasuries. Our team within Honor is called the Data Display Team, and we manage the open source, open data website to serve Honor's mission and to provide the public with transparent data and engage them in the process. Again, our link is revenuedata.ui.gov. Our team is composed of one product manager, who's Jennifer Malcolm, and she defines the product vision and makes sure that we're working on carrying out that vision. And we have three developers that write code, develop technical strategy, and design the technical tool sets. We have one content strategist that develops strategy for and maintains all the content on the site. One designer that does user research and to understand our user needs and design the site to meet those needs. And we have 3 program analysts, including Lindsay and I, and we make sure that we have current and accurate data that we interface with the other groups within Honor. And I'll pass it on to Lindsay to tell you a little bit about the history of our portal.
So our portal grew out of our commitment to the Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative. We first began publishing the data as an interactive website, and then even though we withdrew from EITI in 2017, we, as an organization, decided we wanted to still be committed to that initiative and keep publishing open data. So I'll just review our purpose and our problem statement and our vision because it guides everything that we do and how we work. So the American people collectively own federal lands, waters, and the minerals beneath them. Transparency about how these resources are managed is crucial to public discourse and government accountability. However, data about public resources is underutilized because it often lacks the contextual information or is presented in ways that aren't readily accessible or understandable to users. Our vision. We are informing policy debates and raising public awareness by building the definitive source of timely and useful data about how the government manages federal energy and mineral resources, revenue, and disbursements. So we're a little bit ahead of the curve, but now the rest of the government is following. Actually had a few laws passed within the past year or two. The first is the 21st Century IDEA, Integrated Digital Experience Act. So it says that government data needs to be published with user needs in mind. So you need to do user testing and really make it useful to people that need it. There's also the Open Government Data Act, and it stands for Open, Public, Electronic, and Necessary. So it says that government data assets made available by an agency shall be published as machine-readable data, which means like no PDFs. Machines can't read those. In an open format and under open licenses, so anyone can access it. So we use several different tools to keep our data in the open and make it accessible. We're not generally known in the government for using the latest tech stacks, but our team is trying to change that. Our open data website weaves together data from multiple sources, powering visualizations, filterable tables, and supporting content. In an effort to improve site performance and maintainability and reduce our technical debt, so we're not dependent on some contract, creating some model that we're not going to be able to update in 20 years. Right? We can all update this as we go. It's amazing. So we turned to this thing called Jamstack, specifically Gatsby.js, which is open source. We maintain our source code on GitHub, and GraphQL helps us with our data. So anyone can update our website from a government computer, even Maroya and I. And that's a big deal, because a lot of people use Macs in the past, but with these giant clunky machines, we could do it. Like from here, Maroya and I could sit down and update the website. And you could too, actually, if you go onto GitHub and you notice there's something wrong, like a typo, you can tell us all about it. So this also better aligns us with industry best practices. And Maroya will talk a little bit about available data.
So we have 3 main types types of data. Again, this is for federal land, offshore, and Native American. We have production, revenue, and disbursement. And I'll show you the website live. So this is our homepage, and you can see here that we have these tabs, revenue, disbursement, and production, and data by state. So the data by state tab, it's an interactive map that you can choose a state that you're interested in, and it'll go to that particular state's data, or you could choose from this drop-down menu. For the revenue tab on the homepage, we have a revenue trend for the past 10 years, broken down by revenue type. And we also have these interactive bar charts, and you could change either yearly or monthly. Yearly we have fiscal year and calendar year, and the table will change as you hover over. For disbursements, we provide this data by fiscal year only on the homepage, and we also show the 10-year trend by recipient. For production, it's the same as revenue, where you could choose yearly or monthly, and also the interactive charts. But for the homepage, we're only showing the major commodities: oil, gas, and coal. If you'd like to see more of those commodities for production data, you can go to the Explore Data page. Again, you'll see right away the interactive map. And in here, this is by calendar year. You could choose whatever year, and it'll change. And we have all the commodities listed alphabetical order. In the Explore Data page, we also have a revenue data displayed. And this is displayed by commodity and production phase. And for the disbursement, we display the data by recipient. And this is fiscal year, and you can also change it, and it interacts. If you just want to get quickly to the data and download, you can go here to the download data. And you'll see production, revenue, and disbursement. So again, for production, we have this data monthly and yearly. If you click here to the download and documentation page, you'll see the months that we have this data available listed right away, and you're able to download this in Excel or CSV file. Also under the scope in the download page, we tell you a little bit about what the data contains and what it doesn't contain. And then we have a data dictionary. We'll explain each field in the Excel sheet if you choose to download it. I'll show you another example. If you go to production by year, sorry, it's taking a little bit. Again, you'll see the dates. The data is available calendar year, fiscal year, and you could download both Excel and CSV file. The scope will also tell you that for Native American lands, we don't show by location, we show at national level to protect private and personally identifiable information. And the same concept where we have fields in the Excel sheet described and defined for you. So for revenue, you could download the data monthly, by year, and by company. And for disbursement, we have it also monthly and only by fiscal year. Let me go back to the PowerPoint. So before we publish any data, the program analyst's job is to verify that the data is accurate. We have a few ways that we do that. We received the data from an internal team in Honor, and we had an intern over the summer to create a Python script to check the quality of the data. We have 3 different scripts. One is a div script that will compare the new data set against the older data sets, and will highlight any new data in red, in green, and any changes or deleted data in red. We also have a format checker, which will check the new data set against an old data set that it's in the same format as previously published, and a number checker, which has a standard deviation set up, and it will check the range of the data that you're publishing. We also have a data update checklist. And this is a checklist that we created for ourselves in our wiki, and the program analyst will go through it and make sure that when we're updating any data files that we're checking the features on the website to make sure that they've updated as well. For example, if we're updating a calendar year production Excel sheet, we make sure that the homepage charts are also updating and the numbers are accurate, and we go to the state pages and such. And I'll pass it on to Lindsay to show you how you can find some data.
All right, let's find some data. Is there anyone here from Colorado? All right. I was gonna make Maroya Faied, no one else would. Let's see. Let's learn about Colorado data. Back to the home page. It'll load, it's a little bit slow here. There we go, we can get here from Explore Data. So on the homepage there are the several tabs that you can click on states, and it'll take you to a map that looks like this. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Colorado. And here we can see all about energy produced in Colorado. Okay. Here we have production data, and you can even look at it by, we have a bar chart on the side that shows annual production. And then you can even look at it by county and expand the table to show the data for specific counties. You can look at gas, you can look at oil. So I've made the mistake before of like clicking on a state that doesn't produce any energy, and there's not as much information on that page. So it'll show you what the top commodities are. It'll show you revenue details by phase, so rights before production, during production, other revenue. So you can really dig down into it just on the website without downloading the data. We find that different users have different needs. Like academics usually just want to download the data and do their thing, whereas journalists often want to dig around, look at the site, see if it's interesting to them before they download data. And then another cool feature that we just released, which is pre-loaded, is our filterable revenue table. So you can filter first by fiscal year. You can pick all the years that you want by checklist. I'll just stick with the ones that we picked. And I'll dig into Colorado this year, this way too. So I'll pick my land category. I'm going to go for federal onshore. And then I'll pick location, Colorado. And then we'll group by revenue type and commodity. So then it'll create this empty table. And of course you can do this all yourself in Excel. And I know Maroya was showing you the Explore Data site, and this is actually something we are just starting to redesign now based on user testing. Because we found that it can be a little tricky to use or doesn't show people exactly what they need. So I went back to the presentation. And now do my plea for help. It's kind of like a pledge drive, right? Like NPR, if you just give me money, I'll stop. So the information that we present is just as important as how we present it. Because we're so interested in serving the user and being relevant, we don't want to waste anyone's time or resources. So we work in 2-week sprints. We use the Agile method, which is a very techy thing, but it's becoming trendy in government. So all of our groups all of our tasks are small. We complete them within 2 weeks. And it's really easy for us to switch tactics if we need to, or directed to by an administration. So we test the functionality and effectiveness of everything that we do on the website. This allows us to be responsive to user needs. So say we use a font that we haven't tested, and all of our users that we talk to say, I can't read those charts. That's really important to know, because then you're not accessible to everyone, which is like actually illegal. So kind of a big deal. And we can catch all of these issues before we spent a bunch of time writing code. So we do a user-centered design process. We're always working in a circular method. We never see ourselves as being done. We don't have a 5-year plan, because who knows if we'll still be using the internet in this way in 5 years, right? We all just may be talking to like Alexa and Siri and Google. So we do user interviews. We find people who use our site or fit the profile of people who use our site, and we ask them to participate in an interview. We talk with them about real-world processes and tasks and how they use our site or our data to support their needs or any issues that they have. Because we do have people that are like, I can't find anything, I'm just going to FOIA you. That wastes a lot of time and resources. When we have the data, we're happy to help. So how you guys can help us is, if you use our data or are interested in it, you can help us by doing a user interview. It only takes about half an hour. We do it online. You can share your screen. We'll ask you questions. It's pretty fun to go through. You get to share your opinion. You'll see that you get to be a part of the process and the solution. So I think that's super cool. We also really like to connect with people. We present at a lot of conferences. We have interns that are virtual from around the country currently. We're also working with a group of students at Carnegie Mellon that are going to help us with user design and research. We're used as an example by a lot of like the quasi-government agencies that are creating websites like ours, because we've been successful so far in our young lifespan. So we also blog about how we work, because most of us, all of our government employees didn't come from the tech side, so this is all new to us. A lot of us are, Maroya had an economics background, public administration type stuff, so we're learning as we go. It's pretty accessible. So we talk about how we design things, how our boss became a product manager. You can find us on email, social media, also on GitHub, which is our open source coding storage. And then another thing I wanted to mention is that Maroya was showing you the checklist for data on our wiki. All of that's public, so you can go into this GitHub repository and you can look at kind of even the back end, so the more technical portion of the data and everything that we do in our system, just to be transparent along and through the entire process. So hopefully we've got a lot of questions afterwards. Thank you guys.
Next, we have Brian Schaeffer from US Geological Survey, based locally.
Yes, sir. Okay, my talk today is on USGS energy databases. They're available through the USGS website. And my name's Brian Schaeffer. I'm a supervisor geologist and also project chief in the Central Energy Resources Science Center, which is located here in Denver. Just a little bit of my background. I'm a government newbie. Relatively, I've only been with the USGS for a little under 4 years. Prior to that, I worked in the coal industry. I was exploration and geology manager for the 3rd largest coal company in the United States at the time. So my background is underground mining. I'm a registered professional geologist in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And because I spent so much time underground, I'm also a certified mine examiner, which means I can go in any mine and actually take a gas check and go in without an escort. So that was important in my job. I do have an MS in geology from West Virginia University. I'm originally an Easterner. I'm a Denver transplant. One thing I wanted to point out here, just total sidetrack, getting back to the coal industry, is you see this modern technical park or business park that we're in here right now here in Broomfield. The little towns that are all around here, down where I live in Leiden, there is Louisville, 20th century, early 1900s, was a coal-producing area for Denver for local fuels and for the railroads. So and what you see now is a total overprint of what this area looked like, 100 years ago when there were coal mines all over this region. Just a lot of people don't know what the USGS is. Some people aren't even aware that it's a government agency. They think it's a consulting firm. But we are a government agency. It was created in 1879 by Congress, and we're an agency under the Department of the Interior also. The USGS is divided into mission areas. Our mission area is energy and minerals. And under the energy and minerals mission area, I work in the energy resources program, which conducts assessments and research on geologic energy resources. So that's what we're tasked to do, is look at energy resources. This is our mission. Basically, we investigate process critical to the formation and accumulation of geologically based energy resources. Our main focus here in Denver is to conduct resource assessments: oil, natural gas, coal, uranium, and gas hydrates. We also evaluate the geological aspects of renewable energy and also investigate the environmental effects of energy occurrence. We have a big program right now on produced waters, or oil and gas waters. How much water is being produced by fracking, how much residual water is being produced by the production process for oil and gas, how's that disposed of? So we're tracking that. Oops. Too far. There we go. The Energy Resources Program actually has 3 different science centers. The Eastern Energy Science Center is in Reston, which is where our headquarters is, near Dulles Airport. I work with the Central Energy Resources Science Center, which is here in Denver, Lakewood, the Denver Federal Center. And then we also have what we call our GMEG, Geology, Mineral, Energy, and Geophysics in Menlo Park, California. So we have 3 different areas. Eastern Energy Resources, I'll let you look at the list there. What they do, the biggest program they're into right now is the Alaska Petroleum Systems. They're under a secretarial order from the Department of the Interior to investigate Alaska and do an assessment of what oil and gas resources are available, especially in the north slope of Alaska. You can see some of the other stuff. Another program that's been very lucrative for the USGS is the State Cooperative Program, as far as data compilation, where we would give money to the state geologic surveys, and they would feed us data back, entered into the databases that we have. Pay for play, basically. The Central Energy Resources here in Denver is basically assessments. We do our big program, the big dog here is actually NAGA, the National Oil Global Assessments of Oil and Gas Resources. They gobble up most of the headlines and funding. But we do have, my part is coal resources, we do uranium resources. The Gulf Coast Petroleum System is actually a separate project from NAGA. I'm not sure why, but they have their own project where they're looking at the depositional environments, the oil producing areas of the Gulf Coast region, both onshore and offshore. And we also have geochemistry labs here. We do a complete suite of oil and anything petroleum related they can do in our labs here. So, and in Menlo Park, the GMEG mainly is geothermal. They're a very small science center. I think they have about 6 or 7 employees, but they still are part of our research group. Getting back, here are some of the databases that are publicly available from USGS. The ones in green are associated with domestic oil and gas production. The ones that are blue are the coal-related, which I'm a steward of or assist in compilation of. Uranium in orange, and then we also track wind turbines and geothermal data. So that's all available. Looking at domestic oil and gas, you can go on to our website and see our assessment results. Our databases we're in the process of revamping them and refining them. So like this oil and gas assessment unit boundaries, you can't go in and find a a single database that has all the oil and gas, but you go in individually. If you're looking for the Williston Basin, you're looking for the Permian Basin in Texas, you can go in and click individually and find those results. And the same with the assessment results. They can be accessed. We have an extensive database of seismic and control data for the NPR, which is the National Petroleum Reserve in Alaska. The TIFF images can be accessed through ArcGIS. There's tabular data. Again, I was talking about our geochemical database. All kinds of organic chem data, petroleum analysis can be accessed as well if you're looking for thermal indices or whatever for certain areas, or the composition of oils or gases. We have a hydraulic fracturing fluids database, and again, I talked about the produced waters. So there's quite an extensive set of databases available on the oil and gas side for basic geologic data and basic production data. On the coal side, probably the oldest database that we have actually is the NCRDS, National Coal Resources Database. They began compiling that in 1975, and that's taking data that we've gotten from the state geologic surveys and also data that we've been able to acquire from coal companies. And it covers the entire United States. I just had them dump down the North Dakota information that we have for the Williston Basin. It was over 30,000 drill holes we had just for the North Dakota portion of the Williston Basin. So it's an extensive amount of data that's available out there. And also coal quality, any coal quality that we can get a hold of or that we analyze goes into a public accessible point source data for coal analyses as well. So, and also wherever we can get trace element or rare earth element data, we will include that. And we've been doing